So this one is gonna piss everybody off, including I hope you or not. I don't hope this pisses you off, but I actually
yeah, you do, you bastard.
Okay, I put Goldfinger on my list at number 4, but let me throw my caveats with this one.
Please do.
This is where I started hitting some walls and some doubts and some issues with. I had a lot of fun making this, but which means I had just a ton of anxiety because it was hard because I went through their catalog, which I know pretty well up to like about 2008 with that album. I didn't really listen. So I knew everything. I didn't have to listen to every song in depth, but I just kind of went through and kind of skipped through their songs. And I was like, okay, because I know you've made the point. Well, they're not really a ska. I was like, oh, I'm going to point out their ska songs. I felt like 3, like 6 albums.
That's what I was going to say. Is that I don't consider them a ska-punk band. Like, I don't think they even qualify.
But I'm kind of going to use your Boston's theory here in that they're with their prominence and specifically how they have carried music and going into more of pop punk where they brought some ska into it. I think all these crappy ska pop punk ska like renditions you see on albums wouldn't exist without them specifically. I think they were the bridge that brought a lot of that into the pop punk side. They brought ska further into there to more of the newer stuff that was coming out at the turn of the decade and the turn of the century, I guess.
Well, then I think it's because do that. Just take them out and put the Boss Tones in because the Boss Tones are a direct influence on that band and a bazillion others.
Yeah,
because Goldfinger doesn't even qualify for this list.
The difference is Feldman actually produced all the whole next wave of bands that came after that. So that's why also because of
they're not a Feldman, but the band that's not a list about the bands that came after them.
I know.
I didn't put all the bands
important. And
they're not important. I don't agree at all. They're not important at all.
You don't agree they're important.
Did I stutter?
At all. Not even like on this particular list, 0.
Yeah.
Zilch. I just absolutely none. Like they had a ska song that was like kind of ska.
Mm-hmm. But it's right in the zone with all this stuff where all this is going. And
yeah, but this isn't a list of like what band influenced a group of bands. This is a list of what are the top 5 ska punk bands. Because if that's the case, there's a shitload of bands I should have put on here then.
Right.
Because
now grant you, they had way less ska than I thought in my head. They're almost
that's my point. It's like
right.
There's other bands I didn't put on for the same exact reason.
I still think their use of ska though is what differentiated them and made them so much bigger than and they were cheap,
except that we're not asking about who's more influential. We're asking who are the top 5 ska punk bands. They're not a ska punk band.
Okay.
But they're not. They're just not. Like by definition, they're not a ska punk band. You can't be a band that has. This is another reason why Rancid doesn't really qualify either. And they've got 6 times the amount of ska punk songs that Goldfinger does, and they're way more influential than Goldfinger is.
That's fair, but I was pegging Goldfinger more exclusive to ska when I set out with it. Now going through their discography, there was just way less ska. Ultimately, here's what I think.
That's why you have to. I mean, I've got probably 6 pages of stuff on the floor because I was like, shit, that doesn't qualify. Out and throw it because again, this is just a conversation between 2 friends. We're not really actually at each other's throat. I don't care. But
yeah, ultimately, what I determined with them though is that that they weren't a ska punk band. So I'm actually agreeing with you on that. But I still kept them on my list.
You motherfucker. That was pretty funny, bro. That was pretty funny.
No, and listening to their music.
I hope people get to this point where we're laughing and calling each other silly bastards because people gonna think we're really actually arguing.
That's great. No, and here's what I realized going through them. So I kept them on the list more so we could talk about them.
That's good. I'm not even mad about that. That's funny because you got me going. I was like, son of a bitch, took Mighty Mighty Boston's off and put Goldfinger on.